with us this morning. Last night, not a great night for the Baltimore Ravens. Their offense couldn't do anything against the Dolphins. The Dolphins, LaShawn, the Miami Dolphins. Lamar sacked 4 times, picked off once. Ravens lose a Thursday night shocker. After the game, Lamar Jackson on what went wrong.
We weren't scoring no points. We started putting our defense out there. They played a great game. Dolphins had their little play. They had their great plays on offense, but I feel like our defense played lights out, man. We just wasn't getting it done on offense. So that's why I was mad. If you was on offense, you would be mad too, But played a great game, man.
He's the best.
It's a lot of chains. It's a lot of post-game chain. LaShawn, you got to wonder about the Ravens after this one. Was last night a real cause for concern for this team? Are we worried about this team?
Let me take a deep breath here. All right. Whew. Okay, first of all,
collect yourself.
Everybody shouldn't panic. They're still a good team, a great team, I think, in the AFC. But let's talk about last night, right? Okay, so they're still a good team, and you do have Lamar Jackson, potentially maybe the MVP of this year, but he's a former MVP. So a couple of things. I think, one, it was extremely hot. The humidity maybe got to him a little bit. They let their fatigue. They played against the Vikings last week. It was an overtime game. They had 98 snaps, okay? 98 snaps, and then you're asked to come to Miami on Thursday night to play. Now, I remember playing for a genius, they say, a guy named Chip Kelly, where we go 85 plays, 90 plays, sometimes 100 plays, and we'd be so tired. But the difference is, you get a Thursday night game, you're so tired, okay? When I watched that game, right, I got to give a lot of credit to Josh Byer, okay? He is the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. They challenged Lamar Jackson to throw the ball. I'm so mad at Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. He challenged them, and he didn't challenge them back. They didn't answer. You got an MVP. You have to throw the ball. They did all-out blitzes, right? Zero coverage. They played man. They didn't run no slants, no out routes, nothing like that. They didn't challenge them. They were throwing these high school Harry screens to the outside. I cannot believe that we have a player like Lamar Jackson who they made throw the ball, not run. You made one guy miss, you're going to the races. Later in the game, they start doing it. They threw a slant to Sammy Watkins, the one he fumbled, right, and they returned for a touchdown. You got to do plays like that. If that's a broken tackle, that's 20, 30 yards downfield, right? You look later on, they start throwing out routes. They're breaking tackles and they're making yards, but you can't win like this. They put this on tape. And this let me know that when they watched Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense, they must have said all week, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make him beat us. Not by running the ball, right? Not by the RPOs, but actually throwing it more than 2 yards, 3 yards. And I'm so disappointed. I watched this game. I can't believe that I really seen that. You have an MVP. You let your MVP play. Let him win games. So I'm sure when they go back and they watch this film, they got to let Lamar Jackson play. Let the leash off.
All right, so LaShawn, I'm going to go back to you in a second because the one statistical standout is the fact that the Dolphins had 24 DB blitzes. It's the most DB blitzes any quarterback has faced since 2015. So as for all the multitudes of things that can happen in a game, do you think Brian Flores just unlocked something that is the key to beating the Ravens long term? Or was this just almost like, a glitch in the Ravens app? Like, looks like we have to patch that. When we get blitzed by DBs, we need to run these set of plays. That's fixed. That won't happen again. So do you think this is the way to beat the Ravens long term or just a random thing that can happen one time?
Well, you have to adjust. Okay, so they did something that you didn't expect, right? So now that happens, they punch you in the mouth, right? We didn't respond. So now going forward, you have to respond. So when they show them type of blitzes, right, 8 up front, and there's blitzing the guys, some guys up the middle, some guys on the side, you have to go max protection. You bring an extra tight end in, a blocking running back. Stop going empty set. When they went empty set, they're having more guys rushing than they can block. So you have a max protection. So that way, they were blitzing the outside guys like the corners and sometimes the safeties that contain Lamar Jackson, right? Because if he could come out there and scramble, so they had that blitz. You have to max protect that and let him throw. Sit in the pocket, you block it up, and you let your best receivers play against their best corners, right? And one catch, you break a tackle, there's nobody there. The whole game, they had to open up the middle of the field wide open. It was wide open. Threatened them to throw the ball, and they didn't do it. So to answer that question, you just have to adjust going forward.
And on that first drive of the game, they did take a deep shot to Sammy Watkins, and Sammy gave up on the ball. Like Troy and Joe realized it on the replay. That was a catchable ball, and Sammy either lost it or just gave up on it. The dimensions of that stadium are weird, where the stands are right behind the end zone. Maybe he got a little spooked by it. I don't know. But it just was all downhill from there. So here's the thing. Great quarterbacks can have bad games. Great quarterbacks can have bad months. And Lamar's in a bit of a rut. People didn't notice it against the Chargers because the Ravens dominated that game. But Lamar was bad in that game. Then the next week, he was bad against Cincinnati. Last week, he was excellent until he threw an interception in overtime that should have lost them the game if Minnesota could do anything with the ball. And then Lamar was really bad last night. So, listen, that's not an indictment on him as a player as a whole. Quarterbacks are allowed to go through, peaks and valleys. He's in a bit of a valley. The Ravens, though, as a whole, Wilds, they have 2 dominating wins all year. I don't know if we can show the schedule. I hope we can. They dominated Denver. They dominated the Chargers. But they lost in overtime to the Raiders. They beat the Chiefs in the final play of the game. They beat the Lions on the final play of the game. They went to overtime against the Colts. I mentioned it, the Vikings was in overtime. And then last night they lost. So they've been playing with fire all year. And with the Ravens doing this, Wilds, the Ravens, you trust them? They consistent? Not to me. The Bills haven't looked good in a month.
Oh, say
Derrick Henry's out.
Come on, buddy.
Oh, I'm going to say it, buddy. Can you feel that breeze? You feel that? Is that
say
the
it.
door has just been left wide open for the Kansas City Chiefs to come storming through, buddy. It's just been left wide open. The whole AFC. It's just, it's there for the taking. It's like they're begging, Wilds, the Chiefs, to get it together. No. Can anyone look good? Can anyone create separation? They can't. They won't. They don't. The Ravens? No, they can't. Okay. The Bills? No, they can't. The Titans look great, but they lost their best player. I'm just telling you, AFC as a whole. Who do you trust in the AFC, Kevin Wilds? Tell me. I'm just curious. Who do you trust?
Well, a rookie who controls the ball and the best coach in the history of pro sports.
Oh, a rookie quarterback.
I think
the first word out of your mouth. Yeah. You already you answered your own question.
Yeah, Patriots in a major way.
Oh, okay.
In a major way.
Wow,
no, your Bills look good. LaShawn, no, your Bills look good. Your Bills look good in Jacksonville. Sorry, the Bills look good. You scored, they look great too. Don't get me wrong. Dominant team, the Bills. Real quick, on the other side of the ball, Tua comes in, plays well. We all felt like the writing was on the wall for Tua. He's going to lose his job. All this Deshaun Watson stuff. How did you think Tua did? Gets the win. He played well last week. I felt like Tua. It was sort of a signature moment for Tua.
Are you serious?
Hates Tua. Go ahead.
I guess for TV you're doing it, but come on, let's be
him.
serious here. He played very average, right? Okay, the big 2 plays they had all game, right, was miscommunication with the defense. They ran,
yes.
So one of their late 3rd downs they converted was they sent a go route or post route. The motion guy came and he ran like a flatten up, and they wanted to get the tight end a fake block to the flex. That worked one time. They ran it again. On the second time, the jet guy that went to the flat, he's a decoy guy. He goes up the field and they throw it to him. Nobody's watching him. That was miscommunication on the defense. I didn't see anything that Tua did all game to let me believe that, wow, this guy is the
it's
guy
worse
for the
than
future.
that.
Huh?
LaShawn, it's worse than that. I agree with you, but it's actually worse than that. They said Tua is not starting because he's got a messed up finger.
Right.
But the finger's not messed up enough to prevent him from being inserted? Like, what in the world? Listen, Tua has not been good and he has not been healthy, and a lot of this is on him. But also, and I think Brian Flores is a very good coach. I really believe that, even though they've been terrible this year. His handling of Tua, it's like he made a trading places style bet of, I can ruin this guy's confidence, give me 18 months to do it. I mean, the herky-jerky. If you're too hurt to play, you're too hurt to play. It's not. He's too hurt to start, but he can come in when Jacoby plays poorly. So, no, I wasn't impressed with Tua. It was a great job by the Dolphins' defense.
Defense, exactly.
LaShawn, you said you're fired up about the game, and we got it. We got the fire. Thanks so much for hanging with us today. That was great. We got to get back to our top story now. Odell Beckham Jr. joining the Rams super team in LA. That's what they're calling it. Are they now the clear